2/3 of Dakar 2022 done and dusted, the bike race is simply spectacular.
If you want to win the race, you need to win some stages, I guess.
And as nerves start to jangle in the cars, it's far from over.
I was really scared all the way, you know.
Bring it on.
The Dakar. It's an exploit to just start it. It's a massive one to reach the finish.
It's okay, it's okay. We had a roll. We're okay. A truck is with us. We'll call you back. And the dune sections were finished.
Several dunes further, more stranded competitors in the soft sand of Saudi Arabia. But on the Dakar, there's always a helping hand or a helpful truck.
We'll use the straps immediately. If reverse is broken but we can go forward, it means it doesn't come from the blocking system.
Will you manage? We are the good Samaritans of the desert. We don't do anything else than help out. It'll work out. You hope to finish at what time? Sorry? You hope to be at the bivouac at what time? Yes, without a doubt. At what time at the bivouac? I have no idea. It's an answer I'd like to have. Late, as usual.
Meanwhile, after dark, Hans Weiss had found his very own Good Samaritan.
It was a tough day. Happy that we are here.
How many kilometers like that?
170. A lot of kilometers. But we are there.
He's here.
Very nice.
We brought him home.
Yeah.
We brought him home.
At 287 kilometres, Stage 9 is one of the shortest of Dakar 2022, but the navigation could potentially catch out a few competitors before what is tipped to be a very tough outing on Stage 11. At this point of the rally, there is less and less margin for error. 8 down and 4 to go then for the 125 remaining bikers. Today's stage began a bit later than usual at 8 a.m, giving competitors who had arrived late to the bivouac last night a chance to get some more shut-eye. Rally director David Castera even came along to see them off.
We left
the bivouac at 6 a.m. today, and waking up at 5 on the Dakar, that's a lie-in. But I'm always a bit wary of these transition stages because you can end up taking them more lightly and not being super focused. And it's sometimes on these stages that something happens. Nacho Cornejo looking to bounce back after a navigation error yesterday cost him some time. Today's a new day and we'll give it our best shot once again. Short stages can sometimes be pretty tough, so we'll be as focused as possible and push hard. Well, there was plenty of varied terrain today, dunes, canyons, plateaus, but it ended up being a very fast stage. Not easy for Sam Sunderland to open, with the early morning sun hiding some of the drops in the dunes, but the gas man did a fine job with navigation. He took his time with some notes and didn't make any serious mistakes, only dropping 8 minutes on the stage. It does mean that he loses the overall lead, but he's in a good position to attack tomorrow, having come 14th. Pablo Quintanea's goal was to catch Sunderland, and that's what he did, making up 3 minutes on his rival. Like pretty much everybody else today, he stayed out of trouble. He says the key is gaining time without necessarily winning stages, so he was pretty satisfied to come 8th today. Quintanilla still 4th overall. And we now have a new overall leader, our 4th of this Dakar, in Matthias Walkner. The world champion super happy with his riding today, no mistakes, and that KTM is kicking along very nicely indeed. He now leads Sunderland by 2 minutes 12, and he says that he can handle the pressure of being in the hot seat.
Finally, I worked for this to be on the top, and this is our goal. And in the end, I just continue to give my best to do all what I can do. And if it's enough for a podium or maybe for a victory, I'm super pumped and happy. And if not, I cannot change it.
Arunas Gelasninkas continues his march to a second straight title in the original by mature class. The plucky Lithuanian almost an hour clear of his nearest rival, Milan Engel, and he's just inside the top 30 overall. Mario Petrao lies 6th in the original standings, and the former winner of the marathon class is currently the top veteran. That's a category that's reserved for riders of 45 and over. Miriam Pol is closing on her second women's title. The Dutch woman is 50th overall, and she has a lead of more than 3 hours over Spanish rookie Sandra Gomez. Stefan Svitko has been very consistent through this rally, staying between 7th and 9th overall since stage 2. But the Slovakian incurred a 15-minute penalty for changing an engine today after the stage. Wasn't really the best day for it either, because there were such tight gaps. He tumbles down to 13th, unlucky indeed. Adrian van Beveren thought that he'd outfoxed everybody at one point when he found himself in a valley with no lines, but it turned out that his rivals had just taken a slightly different route. The Frenchman said the navigation wasn't as complex as he expected, but he's still 3rd overall.
C'est super serré.
Yeah, it's super tight, and we're going to have to stay solid until the end. There are still 3 stages to go though, and on the Dakar it only takes one note, 1 kilometre to change everything, for better or worse. So we really have to concentrate. Van Beveren's Yamaha teammate Andy Short is still plugging away. He had a good performance today, coming 6th. In fact, the American hasn't gone higher than 6th all rally, but on the Dakar, it's not always about pure speed. In spite of being one of the riders who got lost on stage 1B, he is still in the top 10 overall. Under all of that Honda kit, Joan Barreda has plenty of strapping on his left shoulder, and the Spaniard continues to deal with the pain of his collarbone injury. 5th place for him today, just 2 minutes and 10 seconds off the pace. Bang Bang is now only 11 minutes back overall. Well, like Van Beveren, Ricky Brabeck was expecting today to be harder. That might have allowed him to claw back some of his 40-minute deficit. The American, former winner, riding alone. He didn't manage to catch up to anybody. Third on the stage, but he's still 35 minutes off the pace. Kevin Benavides has been yo-yoing up and down in the last few days, coming 14th, 2nd, 13th and 2nd again today. Last year's winner is now 5th overall, just over 10 minutes back, and he declares that 10 minutes is absolutely nothing. He's still very much in the hunt to defend his title. But it was Nacho Cornejo celebrating a second stage victory in the space of just 3 days. The Chilean has been up at the front since the rest day, and he put in another red-hot performance to win by 1 minute and 26 seconds. Cornejo now sits 8th, and he'll keep pushing all the way to Jeddah. I was kind of hoping navigation would be harder today and then the time gaps might have been bigger. But anyway, I've had 3 days up at the front and I'll just keep going with the same attitude, fighting until the end and trying to gain time overall. 6 minutes and 40 seconds separating the top 10 today, with Maciej Giemza just sneaking in down at the bottom there. Luciano Benavides in 7th for the Husqvarna factory team. KTM lead for the first time this year through Valkner, but Sunderland, Van Beveren and Quintanilla are all breathing down his neck.
I think it's calm as the family aren't here.
We have 5 children.
I think that's enough for sure.
Born out of the last Dakar on the African continent, Nomad Racing started in 2008. Team manager Emmanuel Braga has brought 4 competitors to make his and their dreams a reality.
I did the Dakar in 2007, the last one in Africa. After discussing with a mechanic working for a car team, he said to me, we must do something. The team started from there. I'm the team manager, and following the rally I'm also a mechanic. It's necessary to adapt and help with logistics.
I help out drivers with logistics before organizing for the rally. On the rally, I take care of the team's drivers.
It's true, my driver often is delighted with the extra attention, it's true.
13h le premier à partir, ouais. 12h40 en bas.
The Dakar is another race. There's a lot of emotions. It can be tough, so you must be patient, and then maybe you'll be successful.
Avec eux, et puis voilà, puis les rassurer peut-être aussi un peu.
What I love is building a team who work together to find answers. It's important for us. Right away, the intimate spirit of the team is as strong as any individual. I want a rider who comes to be really part of a group. In the end, it's with great satisfaction after 12 years, the riders have helped create something great. Quads dropping like flies as they lined up for stage 9. Alex Velou out the day after Alexander Maximov and Sebastian Sude withdrew. Giroud will want to avoid a similar fate after abandonments in his 2 previous Saudi adventures. The overall leader wants to win, but getting to the finish line is the priority. Well, so far so good. If we can finish, that would be superb. If after that I'm a winner, then of course that would be better. The fight for a place on the podium in Jeddah hotting up. Kamil Wisniewski promoted to 3rd overall but lost valuable time. Nightmare in the dunes. And Francisco Moreno, who's been consistency personified and never outside the top 7, took full advantage. The 25-year-old with a first top 3 finish, podium position in Jeddah within sight. Up top, after leading out, Giroud quickly slipped to 3rd, and by checkpoint 3 there was an inverse of yesterday's podium. Marcelo Medeiros again fighting at the front, but Pablo Capetti edged in front. The Argentine-born American battling to eat into the 30-minute gap. Dakar legend knows he must put pedal to the metal to catch Giroud.
Yeah, I will take risks. I need to reduce the gap, and I want the win. The only way to win is just to try to reduce the gap. So I have to go full gas.
A 7th Dakar stage win for Capetti. Giroud's second. He's missed just one podium so far. Moreno's first ever top 3 finish. The Argentine into the top 3. Capetti makes a 6-minute dent, but one thing's for certain: Giroud remains top quad dog.
One of many Dakar future projects, GCK has been developing its hydrogen technology and buggy for the past few years, a project that has become reality.
Today we're lucky enough to present a first car that is powered by hydrogen. It's a competition car and it allows us to test these technologies, and tomorrow it'll also be a way of showing what the development of race cars can be adapted to vehicles of everyday life.
It's a long-term project. We've been working on it for 2 years now. Since a year and a half we've had an electrically powered car, and this is version 2 with less batteries, and we use fuel cells, and it'll start a testing program as soon as March on off-road terrain. The goal is to be at the 2023 Dakar as a demonstration car, and if the rules allow it, to be in the race in 2024. So how does this buggy work?
It's a fuel cell that was developed entirely within GCK Motorsports, with a chemical process where we inject hydrogen and pressurized air, and then the resulting chemical reaction produces electricity that powers the electrical engine. It's clearly the future. Hydrogen today is the technology that will allow us to have the ambition to cover the distances that are long enough for rally raids.
The last big step that remains, and it'll take 2 or 3 years to get there, is how to produce the hydrogen locally. And we're working on that. We have our solutions, and if in 2 or 3 years we manage to produce a car alongside clean assistance vehicles, we'll manage a big step forward.
Today, all the technologies that we've put in this race car will be used and adapted for everyday life vehicles, especially heavier vehicles. We're working on projects for buses, for snow groomers, and currently finalising the prototypes actually. Yesterday evening at the Wadi Dawasia bivouac, an historic moment. A second stage win for the new Audi RSQ e-tron, impressive enough, but at the hands of rookie Matthias Ekstrom, even more reason to celebrate.
My goal before the Dakar was to finish all 12 stages, to drive fast as I can, with no risk, that I can collect maximum experience. That we will win a stage was not on the bucket list and not even in the dreams. Tomorrow we will experience something new, is to be first on the road and open completely with no lines of a car in front. So we already look forward for this experience, because I think that will be a shock for us when there is no line to follow.
And this is the blank canvas of Stage 9 that awaits the cars. Dakar legend Cyril Dupre is a 5-time winner of this event on bikes, and a second life on 4 wheels since 2015 has yielded 6 finishes and 1 podium. This Peugeot mission, though, is part of a long-term project to run a hydrogen-powered 4x4 on the Dakar as early as next year. Dupre and new co-driver Tay Perry are firmly in the top 20 at the moment overall. Sebastian Halpern has competed on quads and cars before. The Argentine has taken the last 3 Dakars off since his best ever finish in cars, 9th in 2018. He podiumed on quads in 2011 and came into the 2022 edition with the ambition to finish in the top 10 on his first time in Saudi Arabia. The X-Ray John Cooper Works 2-wheel drive mini buggy is in 9th overall after stage 9. Czech driver Martin Prokop has been a consistent finisher of the Dakar, having crossed the finish podium all 6 attempts so far, and his highest result is 6th in 2019. This brand new Ford Raptor RS Cross Country, nicknamed Shrek, has been built to the same new T1 Plus spec as the BRX Hunters and the factory Toyotas, solid in 8th overall. Now, as we heard before, Matthias Ekstrom was looking forward to the challenge of being first car on the road, the honour that is bestowed upon the previous day's stage winner. And here he's caught up with one of the bikes, giving him and Emil Bergqvist something to follow. And again, the Swedish crew impress. Quicker than Loeb, and 4th fastest, right behind Nasser Al-Attiyah. The BRX Hunter off the start line. A very different sounding launch to the Audi, but nonetheless a future-leaning project. This Bahrain Raid Extreme Hunter is powered by an eco-fuel which reduces CO2 emissions by 80% over regular petrol-powered cars. It was a mixed stage for Orly Terranova, the Argentine Dakar veteran. He joined the team 11 months ago, and in this stage he got a puncture and you can see he lost his bonnet. Now, since his stage win before the rest day, all is going well, and this short fast stage helped them move into 4th overall. Now, the BRX team had a nervous evening last night as the stewards had to decide how to act, considering both Orly and Seb lost spare wheels in stage 8. In the end, no sporting penalty applied. Today, the French rally legend was not able to make the same inroads into Nasser's time as he has the last 2 days. The stage was just too short and too fast. In fact, Loeb reported that for one section of about 35k today, the car was in 6th gear, flat out, with only 1 or 2 lifts.
On a bien roulé, mais c'est très rapide.
We went well, but it was very fast, so there was not much more to do. But we carry on. We're not in a position to calculate anything. We have quite a deficit to Nasser, so we just need to take it one day at a time, do a good stage each day, and we'll see at the end. Henk Lattigan is fighting back from a low point on stage 4 where the Toyota team was stranded in the desert waiting for assistance, dropping to a low of 73rd. But on the good days, the South African's pace is excellent. A stage win last week, and now a close 2nd place, only 9 seconds off the scratch. Lattigan is part of a very strong Toyota performance in stage 9, a stage podium lockout for the Japanese mark. Lattigan back up to 31st. ...2009 Dakar winner Giniel de Villiers, who's had a troubled Dakar on and off the stages this year, will be pleased to set a scratch time. Flanked by his teammates Lattigan and Al-Attiyah. It's an 18th Dakar stage win for the South African, and this year, with Dennis Murphy alongside him, this moves them up to 5th overall.
Kom nog Owens. Ja, ik denk
We had a nice clean stage today. You know, last night, I must say, you know, the mechanics worked really hard last night because we had a problem with the dampers the last 2 or so days, but really they did a great job and the car was just unbelievable today and really nice to drive, so we could push nicely. We had one slow puncture on the left front, about 50 k's from the end, but it managed to hold out, and we're very happy.
Rally leader Al-Attiyah had a real scare yesterday as a rear puncture and wheel chains precipitated a broken differential, which gave the Qatari only front-wheel drive, but also the fear that the car would fail in more terminal ways. The only damage had been 7 minutes off his lead. But the Toyota Gazoo racing team did a great job to fix the car, make sure the same wouldn't happen again, and Nasser finished only a minute off the pace, consolidating his overall lead. It's not a pedestrian crossing, guys.
Toyota look today in good shape, you know, first and second and third, and it's not easy, but we are quite happy to come close to the finish, you know, to Jeddah.
For the first time this Dakar, a single brand locks out the top three on the stage. Toyota, Ekstrom for Audi and Loeb for BRX complete the top five. That stage win moves De Villiers up to 5th overall, Terranova up to 4th, Al Rajhi still in the podium spot, and Al Attiyah extends his lead over Loeb.
You see why I told you to arrive early. They showed up early. You've still got to wait 1 minute and 3 minutes.
The penultimate stage of Dakar 2001. In their blue buggies, Jean-Louis Schlesser and Jose Maria Servia aren't playing by the rules as they get to the start zone early and set off in front of the leader, Hiroshi Masuoka. This kind of manoeuvre is usually prohibited, and it will lead to one of the most spectacular episodes in Dakar history. Schlesser is now opening the road ahead of his teammate Servia and throwing up a lot of dust. Masuoka is third, but he's desperate to get past Servia so he doesn't lose time on Schlesser. The Japanese driver is willing to take risks to get past the Spaniard, no doubt too many risks. He dives off the track to come around him, but with disastrous consequences. Masuoka has a mechanical problem and his furious co-driver Pascal Maimon rushes onto the track to stop Servia. It's an incredibly close shave. The Mitsubishi has taken major damage to the rear left wheel, and as it sinks in, Maimon's reaction says it all. The overall leaders have just lost the Dakar.
What happened is they got to the start early on purpose so they could block us. We were 50, 100 meters behind Servia, with Schlesser 100 meters ahead of him. So it created a huge dust cloud. They got that spot on. Then when we overtook Servia, he squeezed us. So we hit a tree stump and it took the wheel off. A great day for sportsmanship.
The steering joint is broken and the Mitsubishi will lose an hour, while a victorious Schlesser plays innocent at the finish line.
All that happened is that we got the time wrong. We entered the start zone 2 or 3 minutes too early. Simple as that. We decided to gamble on the early start and run the risk of getting a penalty, and I think that put a bit of pressure on our Japanese friend. And that's it.
But that night in Dakar, the rally commissaires have the final word. Schlesser is given a 1-hour penalty for anti-sporting behaviour. The following day, Jutta Kleinschmidt is therefore catapulted to the top of the standings and becomes the first woman to win the Dakar.